So I would like to invite to the stage now 3 organizations and 3 representatives of organizations. But first of all, let me invite Laura Ponikelska to the stage. Very welcome, Laura. Good to see you here. Laura is a communication manager of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, and she's going to present now this network and to tell us a little bit how can we benefit from this network and what partnership might appear out of this network of European Partnership Civil Society Forum. Please, Laura, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Tino, for this kind introduction. Yes, it's a real pleasure and honor for me to be here and to present a little bit what the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum is about. And for this, I would like to start sharing my screen, if it's fine. Yes, so I think you should be seeing my screen now. Let me know in case anything is not fine. All right, so just to have a short purpose of this presentation, I would just like to give you a small overview of what we do at the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, and as well as Tino announced already, how you can get involved and what opportunities there are at our organization. So at first, just a very small look at history and a small background. So the EPCSF exists already since 2009. So we exist for more than 12 years. And since then, there has been a large development for our organization. Some important points are in 2011, where we have received a permanent observer status at Eastern Partnership platform and panel meetings, and as well in 2012, where the EAPCSF Secretariat has been established, which I am a part of. So I work at the Secretariat, and we support in general the forum in all its activities and processes. And so just to give you a general, definition of what we are. So we are the largest umbrella organization of NGOs from the Eastern Partnership region, and as well of EU member states, and we count more than 1,000 members. So our vision is really for the Eastern Partnership region to become a democratic, prosperous and peaceful region committed to European values and standards, and especially where civil society is an integral part of democratic governance and an active participant in democratic reforms. And so how do we do this? Well, the EAPCSF is actually the only civil society organization which has a permanent observer status in the Eastern Partnership architecture, so meaning it's a permanent partner in the Eastern Partnership policy, and I will talk more about this later in the presentation. But in general, our mission is to strengthen the civil society in the Eastern Partnership countries, to represent civil society in the elaboration, implementation, and monitoring of the Eastern Partnership policy, and as well to contribute to the democratic transition and European integration of EAP countries. So to just shortly touch on our activities that we do at the forum. So we have several areas, and I will touch more on the other ones later in the presentation. But first, let me outline what we do in the policy dialogue. So in our policy dialogue, we really try to ensure that the civil society participates in the planning. And as I mentioned, this is also actually part of our mission to ensure that civil society participates in the planning, implementation, and monitoring of the EAP policy. So here I have some examples. Yes, so as you see, the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum is the it's the only civil society organization that is part of the Eastern Partnership architecture. And what does it mean concretely? Well, concretely, it means that we actually, and including we, meaning our member organizations and everyone who is part of the forum, can actually get access to policy dialogue, which means participation in Eastern Partnership platforms and panels, in Eastern Partnership ministerial meetings, in the Euronest Parliamentary Assembly, and in the Conference of the Regional and Local Authorities for the Eastern Partnership, as well as bilateral dialogue. So in concrete terms, this is often that we send civil society representatives to participate in these meetings and to present what the situation is for civil society in each of the countries, and as well, what are the priorities for civil society, depending on the topic that the meeting, that the meeting focuses on. Here you see a short overview. Here you see a short overview of just general architecture of what the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum is a part of. Notably here, you see the platform and panels, which I mentioned previously, and which can focus really on many different topics. For example, here a panel on transport, a panel on culture, education and youth, and so on. So it's really very varied topics. Second point on our activities, so we really publish many statements, publications, reports, policy papers, and the essence is that we try to provide and gather the policy expertise of civil society and on a variety of subjects, and then to deliver them to the decision makers. So, for example, on our website, you can find many different statements. Most recent ones include many on the situation in Belarus and what civil society has been facing there, notably the repressions and attacks on civil society organizations and activists. So on our website, you can find all recent publications and statements. Then our third point is campaigns and advocacy. So this will actually tie in quite closely to what I mentioned about the policy dialogue. So in 2020, EAP-CSF participated in 24 official Eastern Partnership architecture meetings. And maybe a more concrete outcome about what our participation resulted in, and what finally our activities resulted in. It's that 41 recommendations that civil society has brought forward in meetings, in papers, and so on, were actually partially or fully adopted in the European Commission's joint communication from last March on the EAP policy beyond 2020. Yes, then we also have different policy papers and statements, as I mentioned previously. Yes, here are just some examples of our past campaigns. So there is notably the one on Prepare EAP for Health, which really focused on the needs of civil society during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we try to provide alternative information about what civil society needs and how the situation is on the ground. And most recently, this resulted in COVID-19 policy papers that were focused on different topics, for example, education, transport, environment, and so on. Then, well, another example is the Civil Society Says campaign. This was launched for the 10th anniversary of the Eastern Partnership Policy, and it was really based on a consultation of our members and of our member organizations, and really try to harvest as much input from our members as possible on the Eastern Partnership Policy, and resulted on 6 different country reports on each of the 6 countries, and outlined what should be taken in consideration for the future. We have also the 10 Years Together campaign. This is already from 2019, and it reflected on the 10 years of the existence of the Eastern Partnership Initiative. And last but not least, we have recurring campaigns or activities that relate to human rights and freedoms. Notably, last year and this year, a lot has been focused on Belarus. And yes, so this is something that is also recurring in our organization. Yes, then regranting. So this is something that could be interesting for anyone who is interested to realize projects. And I guess this is part as well of what you have been doing now these past few days. So the EAPCSF supports regional projects in the Eastern Partnership countries, which in general are aimed to strengthen and provide support to the needs of civil society. So for this, here are a few numbers, but I will not stay too long on this because time is limited. But if you are interested to learn more, you can go on our website and find more about regranting, about the regranting scheme. But to provide you some information about the past projects, so our regranting projects can be really focused on many different topics and areas. So, for example, we had a project that advocated for the speedy ratification of the Istanbul Convention and for the protection of women in the Eastern Partnership. So, results of this project were a report, a website that promoted all the project's activities, and an online international feminist school, which was really the opportunity to bring together scholars and experts from all over the world. So I think there was a lecturer from the United States, but also from the Eastern Partnership countries. And it really, yes, provided the platform to come together and to discuss current challenges of gender and of women and feminist initiatives. Yes, a second example, a completely different topic, was the Energy Transparency Index, which monitored the transparency of the energy sector in Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova. And again, so the project results was a publication of the Energy Transparency Index and an online event that presented the results. And a third and last example, but of course this does not show the immense variety of projects that have been implemented with this financial support. However, yes, I think that these three really give a good overview of how varied this can be. So the third one is Mythbusters, which was a project that tried to debunk myths and counter disinformation about Eastern Partnership and European Union relations. However, since it was implemented in last year, and the COVID pandemic arrived unexpectedly, the project reacted to this and actually started as well, including myths related to COVID-19. And so this was a project that resulted in videos about the common myths and debunked them as well. And what was also very interesting was that it developed a game, so the Mythbusters game, that gave the opportunity to young people, but to actually anyone, to get acquainted with what myths exist and to learn more and to enhance critical thinking. And this actually resulted in a board game, which was distributed in schools and youth centers. Yes, then we have also an important part publication is the Eastern Partnership Index, which assesses the progress in Eastern Partnership countries' reforms, democratic development, and European integration. So the index also signals when the progress is lagging or reversed. And so this publication exists since 2011 and is published yearly up until now. And lastly, we also have recurring events, which I will touch on in a few seconds. So yes, just to shortly outline that we have our delegates are structured in working groups which focus on different thematic areas, and they hold yearly meetings with many different sessions, and where they can as well get into contact and exchange with EU and international stakeholders. So this is just a short overview of our annual assembly, which is the largest event of ours and takes place once a year. And it really gathers hundreds of civil society organizations and as well EU stakeholders and Eastern Partnership stakeholders. Yes, so I think the time is quite short, so I will jump over this. Yes, so something interesting as well is our youth conference, which takes place each 2 years. So one was in 2016, the second in 2018, and the last was in 2020. And it's really a platform that brings together young people from the Eastern Partnership countries, as well as young people from the European Union member states to exchange on topical subjects such as rights, entrepreneurship, environment. So all 2 years it's a different topic, and it really gives the opportunity for young people to come together, to network, to build projects together, and to get into contact with decision makers. So yes, the next one is planned for next year. However, the topic is not defined yet, but I invite everyone to consult, keep an eye on our website to know more. So after this very general overview, I would just like to mention that today we have over 1,200 member organizations from the Eastern Partnership countries, as well as from the European Union member states. And 166 of those are chosen as delegates, which is usually for a 2-year period, and a new call for delegates will be launched soon. Yes, and now related to how you can become a member of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum and benefit from all that we propose. So some benefits of the EAPCSF is, as I outlined previously, the access, so the advocacy part, so the access to EU institutions, EU stakeholders, and policymakers, and notably through the participation in meetings such as the platform and panel meetings, where civil society representatives, or rather representatives from the EAPCSF, can bring forward priorities of civil society, can share the situation, the current situation, and can share the priorities that need particular attention in policy. And yes, so this includes as well all other meetings that are part of the EAP architecture. And another benefit is networking and visibility. So by being a member of the EAPCSF, you get access to our member organizations that have really very different thematic focus and that work on very different areas. So as I outlined previously, human rights, journalism, environment, culture, education, and really are very varied and get to exchange through our umbrella organization. Then, of course, as well to meeting other organizations through the participation in working groups, and as well, of course, the funding, which is the Regranting scheme, and which I presented to you a few seconds ago. So this is really as well a great benefit to be able to get access to financing and to realize projects that together with other Eastern Partnership countries. So yes, I think this is really as well a great part of being our member. Yes, that you get to implement different projects with civil society organizations from all over the Eastern Partnership countries, but as well from European Union member states.
Yeah, Laura, I would ask you to come to an end, because we have also some others to present, and the time is running.
Yes,
please, if you could finalize your presentation, would be good. Then yes, we can go on.
This is actually the end. So just to finalize here, how can you become a member of our organization? You can become a member if you are Eastern Partnership based. You can do so by contacting our national platforms, which are based in each of the Eastern Partnership countries. You can find information on this on our website. And if you are EU based, the process is a little bit different, but is outlined here on the presentation, and you can as well access the process on our website as well. So I would be very happy if you consult this if you are interested, and we would be very happy to get in touch and to answer any questions that might come up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Laura, for this intense presentation. A lot of benefits, a lot of questions I had already were already answered. So where can I contact? Where can I get to? What is the benefit? And I think for a lot of organizations being here in the civil society, civil match forum, sorry, for the civil society forum would be interested in the EAP civil society forum. And I would ask you maybe to stay in the chat because there are appearing already some questions to you regarding what you said. And I would ask everybody who has still questions to Laura, use the chance now. She will be here in the chat for answering all your questions. And I thank you very much, Laura, for this presentation and for the work actually you're doing with connecting this members and NGO sector. And thank you very much for being here. And
thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much. And I invite to the stage the next speaker, who's also presenting a network, another possibility to get in contact and to get together. And it is Izumi Rögener, a cultural manager with a background of music and musical theater. She's part of the team of the International Co-Production Fund of the Goethe-Institut at Munich headquarter. And the Goethe-Institut, as you know, is the initiator of this Civil Match Forum. So one of the network you are already in here all together. And please, Izumi, the stage is yours. I invite you to present what is the possibility in the Goethe-Institut network to contact the partners, maybe create partnerships even though. Please.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tino, for the kind welcome. I'm very honored to be part of the Civil Match Forum. And I'm very pleased to introduce to you to the International Co-Production Fund. As Tino said, I'm part of the team. My dear colleague Natalie Feldman, who's not able to join us today, and myself, we are the team of the International Co-Production Fund. And I will now share my screen in a bit.
Meanwhile, I can say everybody who has a question, please use the chat. We will answer all your questions in the chat, as well as Laura and Izumi later can do it as well. Izumi, I can see your screen.
It's the wrong screen. Wait a minute.
But it's looking nice anyway.
I have two screens. It's a bit confusing. Sorry.
You can also take the beautiful, colorful screen. That's also nice. That's the Goethe-Institut screen.
I can see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
And all the questions, please ask in the chat.
Perfect. So I will talk about the International Co-Production Fund, which is a funding program that was initiated in 2016. It's aimed for international artistic collaboration for performative arts. The whole process is organized by the headquarters in Munich, but we work very closely with our Goethe-Institutes in all over the world. So to give you an overview, we already had 10 rounds. Normally we have 2 rounds each year. One deadline is in April, one in October. Only this year, because of the COVID situation, we had to skip 1 round, unfortunately, but the next deadline is actually next week. I don't expect you to apply. I'm just introducing because I will come to that later. It takes some time, as Olga already said, to initiate projects. Nevertheless, we already had 117 projects that were selected. With about 1,000 or more than 1,000 applications overall. The artistic disciplines that we do cover are music, musical theater, dance, and performances or interdisciplinary projects. And as you can see, the dark blue part is for the interdisciplinary performances, and they are the majority of the projects that we had so far. The next slide is a slightly confusing world map. This is just a rough overview of the regions that we talk about in the Goethe context. As you can see, we have the Eastern Europe, Middle Eastern Europe part is light orange, and this is actually a region that was represented quite well in the last rounds. We are talking about the first to the 9th round here, with 12 projects, which is quite good. The International Co-Production Fund is aimed at every country. You can apply from every country, but we do have a focus on transition countries, which would include actually most of the countries that you live in. So who can apply? The fund is open for both individuals or individual artists and also institutions or ensembles. However, it is important that it's for professional artists. So we are focusing on the performing arts, professional performing arts. We are interested in high quality. The relevance of the artists in the local scene is quite important. As Orva said, the balance of the partnership is very important. A solid finance plan is very important, and you need to have at least one presentation outside Germany. To go a bit more deeper into this, what includes in performing arts is music and theater, as I already mentioned, dance, of course, and interdisciplinary projects that could also actually include visual arts. However, the main aspect of the project should be on performing arts or the performance itself. So, for example, we already had one project which started with a small exhibition. So the audience had to go through a small exhibition in order to get into the auditory and to the theater itself. So that was a possibility to include visual arts, but still the emphasis was on the performance. When we talk about quality, we are interested in professional artists, so people who are really working as artists. And even if, because I know that some of you are more in NGO scene, it's not impossible to apply as an NGO, for example. However, you have to confirm that most of the people involved are artists, and that the emphasis is on the artistic collaboration. When we talk about artistic relevance, we need to see that the people involved have been working with other institutions, maybe are known internationally, but not necessarily. But still, we need to have an impression how you are connected and how your art is relevant in your region. Maybe I skipped one important thing. Our fund is, so to say, it's a partnership between international artists or an international partner who's actually applying with a German partner. We are not talking about nationality. We are not interested in the German part being actually a German artist. It also can be international artists who are living and working in Germany for some time. So as long as we can understand that the person involved or the institution is really established in Germany, and that goes that's the same for the international artists as well. If you are established in your country, then that counts as well, applying for that country. So, for example, it could be a French singer living for a long time in Poland, for example, and they would then apply from Poland. Yeah, balanced project partnership. So this is very important because we want to really have an artistic exchange, and we don't look for one partner being very dominant in the project. So we want to see that there is a partnership, there is a collaboration between two people, two ensembles, two institutions that really developed over time, that is sustainable, where you can see that there's an interest in not just working for one show, but really to learn how someone works artistically, how someone rehearses, how someone works on a concept. So it's really an exchange, a deep exchange and understanding for each other that we are looking for. Equally important is a solid budget. So this is just some guideline. We can never, it's always an individual case, but as a guideline, we would say that the whole budget should be equally funded by your own resources, by further funding, and the IKF, so the international co-production funding you are asking for. The minimal amount is 10,000 euros, and the maximal amount is 25,000 euros. And I know that especially in nowadays, it's very difficult to collect money for artists. And I just want to encourage you, because we are quite flexible when it comes to own resources. So if you have someone who is helping you with the PR, or an institution who's that says, okay, we are supporting you with PR, we are supporting you with a rehearsing room, we are supporting you with the stage or technical equipment, and you don't have to pay for it, then that would count as own resources. So everything should be written down when it comes to own resources. So all kind of in-kind contribution should be mentioned. And as I said, we want to see at least one presentation outside Germany. Yeah, just to have more projects that are really spread all over the world. I'm very grateful for all the things you said, because there are so many topics that I'm familiar with, that we are familiar with at the International Co-Production Fund, because they are things that we are constantly talking about, that we are hearing from our partners, from projects that went well, some had problems, some had difficulties throughout the process. And so there are some things that we want you to think of before initiating a partnership. For once, there is the language, which is, quite a huge topic, because sometimes it's very difficult to express yourself in another language. So these are things that you should consider beforehand. Do you need a dolmetscher? Do you need translations of texts, of resources that you have to calculate in your budget, for example? Then the budget itself, think of all the funding that you have to apply for, the artistic fees, which should be equal, talking about equality. I mean, we are in different countries, so sometimes there are huge differences between the fees, but think about it, communicate this to us even, and explain why one fee is, for example, higher than others. and never forget how much work and how much responsibility the administration and the management of a project takes. So for us, it is important that the responsibility lies with the international partners. We want to see that someone is really coping with this and not only the German partner. Yeah, and also something like expectations. I mean, what is the goal? What is someone expecting of a collaboration? What is collaboration? Where does it begin? Where does it end? Yeah, working conditions. These are things that you should really think about beforehand in order to just, to make sure that it works. And last but not least, of course, finding a partner. Unfortunately, we in Munich, we cannot hand you a list of potential German partners, but we also we want you to contact our colleagues in your country. So I would always advise you to contact the local Goethe-Institut, to follow the program of the Goethe-Institut, to check our website, which I will show you in a bit, and have a look at the recent projects we funded. Maybe they have similar ideas, maybe they have similar working processes, and you could get in touch with them.
Dear Izumi, I would also ask you to wrap up a little bit, because the time is over already and we have another presentation before we come to the pitches. So please, if you could finalize your presentation, would be good.
Yeah, I will just, so this is our website. So I would just recommend you to check it out. And also, I will skip this. If you have any questions, you can also contact us directly at CoProductionsfonds@goethe.de, which is also written on our website. So I would be happy to answer questions if you have any. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Izumi. And I would also go for questions in the chat. So everybody who has a question for Izumi about Goethe-Institut and everything that she presented, you probably have a few minutes to answer in the chat. Would be great. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation anyway, Izumi Rögner.
You're welcome. Thank you for
from the Goethe-Institut. Nice to have you here, and nice to have the Civil Match Forum also being inspired and initiated from the Goethe-Institut. Thanks for that as well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, guys. Everybody who has a question, Izumi is still here now, so that's your chance to ask the questions in the chat. And I would ask also to get our next guest to the stage here. She is a Coordination Council member and co-founder of the Eastern European Network for Citizenship Education, and actually one of the members of our jury as well. Tatevik Hakobian, very welcome. Hello, good to have you here. And
hello, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can see you very well, and a nice background, by the way. I would appreciate to be there as well. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your time. Although I know you're very busy with choosing the pitches for the next step we will go. But beforehand, maybe you give us a few words about the EENCE to have a look. What is it about? What is the benefit for the participants here? So this stage is
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great introduction. So I will not take longer time, and I will share my screen quickly for you to guys see the presentation I have prepared for today. So it was indeed lovely to hear people who were talking about different type of nice networking experiences, and I will go ahead and present the Eastern European Network for Citizenship Education, which I believe is already known to many of the participants today, because we are a partner of the event that you guys are organizing, and we love the event, by the way. Civil Match Forum has become a really great annual event that everybody is looking forward to participate and get funds and find partners. So my name is Tatev. I am from Armenia, one of the co-founders and a member of Coordination Council for Eastern European Network for Citizenship Education. Today I will be going through the mission that we follow so that you guys understand better what we do. We are a network of organizations and experts who aim at promoting exchange and development of knowledge, skills, and values on citizenship education in the region of Eastern Europe, in particular in 7 countries. It is Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, Ukraine, and Russia. So we are here to strengthen the capacity of the organizations and experts in the field of civic education, both from non-formal and formal education fields. We promote the values of citizenship education so that we see impact and engagement of decision makers in all areas of the society. And of course, we endorse the networking with other countries. We do have partners from European countries like Poland, Germany, as well as we have a member from UK. So that's a wide web, let's call it, network where people can come and make sure they work in sake of citizenship education values and democratic values, of course. And within the network, we do have 15 working groups currently. What are the working groups? Those are the little, let's call them consortiums, when people with the same interest come together and they realize projects. They have ideas, they develop that idea. It is also international because at least 3 different countries should be engaged into this project realization stages so that we have impact on different areas of civic education. We have done really great successful projects on SDG goals. We have had nice researches on conflict research. We have had lots of youth and educational programs during these times. We're already in the field for 6.5 years. So we have covered many areas that are interesting for the partner countries and not only. So anyone who wants to join the network, which I will come later on, can become the working group members and bring to the floor their ideas, make sure that their colleagues understand that, and they can develop, of course, a project and apply for financial assistance grants, which we provide. It's already a couple of years that we do with the help of the BPB and, of course, using the funds of the Federal Foreign Office in Germany. As well as I would like to highlight one big event that has become another annual traditional thing that we do. It's the Week of Citizenship Education, and every year we change the title of it. This year we gave the title of Art of Living Online because everybody is in this online remote life, and we would like to engage people so that they can exchange their practices. They can bring new topics, new discussions to the floor, new debates, so that we can enhance again the citizenship education skills and values throughout the countries. Every one of you who is in this call is invited to participate in the competitions and programs that we have. You guys have time to join and present your ideas. By the way, we post on the social media all these competition details. For example, the poster contest is quite a popular one. So whoever has an idea which is sticking to the civic education, you can create a poster, a nice one, and then post it on our send it to us. We'll post it on the social media, and whoever gets the more likes, they will get prizes. At the same time, we have also deep scientific, let's say, research site competitions, which is about the best online programs in the field of citizenship education, and publications. If you are an expert, if you are a writer, if you are a scientist who is indeed interested in the civic education fields and has some published manuals, books, or research, feel free to send it to us. It should be during the 2019-2021 years, and you can win one of the 3 awards in the categories of a monograph, scientific article, publicist article, and etc. During our history, we have seen and faced lots of challenges, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I should mention that we have been in the area of kind of in the same aim. We have been following the same aim and developing the same area in our national level in our countries, being bringing an additional value, making sure that we have different type of activities. One of those activities is the ENC Club. This one was a new initiative this year, and it is dedicated to the Sustainable Development Goals. And we do discourses, debates. We do invite speakers from different countries to have public discussions, share their experience, demonstrate the impact they have had on the citizenship education fields, and create exchange and networking opportunities. So feel free to also join these clubs. They are happening almost every week on Saturdays or Fridays. You can follow the dates on our website and come hear us live. We are going live on YouTube on that. Of course, we have had lots of already clubs done. We have also opportunities for you to suggest a topic and become a moderator with honorarium. So just you need to describe your role's relevance and the topic that you would like to bring to the floor to the citizenship education and one of the SDG goals. So feel free to email us on this email, ENC Connect, and we will respond to you with the details and instructions. So I would like also invite everyone who is interested in the Eastern Partnership country development of citizenship education, and not only if you would like to become a partner or if you'd like to become a member of our network, you can sign the memorandum, become the working group member, get the funding. You can be a part of the online events, as I mentioned, and you can, of course, follow us on social media to get more information about us. Here are some resources. I have the PDF of my presentation. Whoever is interested, you can ask the organizers to share it with you so that you get the links, as well as I would highly appreciate if you guys can send us some notes, questions. We're here on the chat. We will answer to you. And by this, I say thank you to you, all of you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I hope I was not too short, but I tried to save more time and just showcase you the website that we have with the contests and encourage you to participate, especially to this week of citizenship education, which is kind of the annual great event that we usually do. Thank you very much.